Good morning. Thursday, the 11th of June, 2020. 1 Corinthians 13, beginning at verse 8. Love never fails, but where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part, but when completeness comes, what is in part disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me. For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. I referred this morning in thinking about this to Eddie Askew again. I've got lots of his books, and he talks about holiday photographs. You remember holidays? They're the things where you don't actually stay where you normally live, which of course we're going to manage without for this year, I think. And he talks about seeing people's holiday photographs and how they capture that one particular place in that one particular moment. And we all do this, don't we? We take the pictures and then we get back home and we think, now, where was that again? Which bit was that? And they only see that one area. It reminds me of a holiday in Mexico quite a few years ago now, where we stayed in a kind of the equivalent of a bed and breakfast, I suppose. And if you turned out of the door one way, you came to big hotels and a beautiful beach. And if you turned out of the hotel the other way, you came straight into the slums. And I could have taken a picture in either direction, and I'm sure people wouldn't have believed that it was actually the same place. We see what we see in the moment, and we capture that particular scene. But it doesn't give us a whole picture. Eddie Askew writes this: Lord, my problem is I need to be sure. The puzzling reflections in a mirror worry me, throw me off balance. I'd like everything laid out, numbered and measured on a grid. It would help if I could study the plan, pin it out on a board, see it all. I'd like the total picture, every angle clear and focused, analysed, each detailed step, a simple yes or no, computer programmed. Perhaps if I knew more, I'd be less dogmatic. I seem to shout most when I'm least sure. It compensates. But if I had it all, Lord, would I understand it? Could I cope? Could I contain it in my mind, my hands? Lord, if you are love, and that's the one thing I hang on to in this raucous, hurting world, then maybe it's because of love that you don't show me more. Just enough to keep me going, not enough to overwhelm. Lord, I'll hold on to the love, not the knowledge, my mind's not up to it. And anyway, even Paul seems less than sure about knowledge. 1 minute he says it will vanish, the next that it will be whole. So in the confusion, mine, Lord, mine, not yours, I'll settle for love, always there, available, poured out and overflowing. And really, Lord, it's not important that I should know, but that you know me. And if I'm sure of that, and sure of love, then surely I can take the rest on trust. I do like Eddie Askew's writings. He worked and lived in some very, very difficult places, and he somehow seems to be able to get to the heart of the issue. I'm really pleased, by the way, that the new setup on the website seems to be working for people. The folk who were struggling latterly to access the reflections tell me that now they can. So it looks as if we've managed to solve the issue, and it shouldn't recur. We should be all right from now on. But please do let me know if there is any further problem. And until tomorrow, the blessing of God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit be with each one of you and those you seek to love in his name. Amen.